Now, welcome to another Mandalorian re-review, where this time it is the 4th episode of Season 2, also known as Chapter 12, The Siege. And let's get right to the review.
Alright, well, Mando's ship is still in desperate need of repair, so bad that he is asking Grogu to help, which isn't really working. I mean, Grogu in the duct with the wires is not
Gonna do
helpful.
it? Yeah.
No. So they take a break. Mando drinks up some soup, and Grogu is very interested, and because, he's not seen Mando's face, and he's kind of like, what am I going to see?
What's it look like under there?
No, he didn't really see much, no.
I like that little adding that in there, that he is curious about his face, that he realizes it's a helmet he's wearing all the time, and he wants to know what Papa Bear looks like.
They decide to return to Navarro because they're going to need some help, and there's no way the ship's making it as it is. So we break away to see the old Mandalorian covert. Their hideout is now full of thugs. But don't worry, Marshal Cara Dune is there to clean it up. She easily takes them all down and even makes friends with the little squirrel-looking critter that they had planned to eat for lunch.
Yeah, you never know where your next meal or friend will come from.
Yeah, same place apparently. Well, Mando arrives with Greef and Cara there to meet him, noting his ship has seen better days, and Greef tells the shipyard workers to make Mando's ship as good as new.
So we can blow it up in a couple episodes.
And of course, one of the repairmen looks really sus. But more on him later. Navarro looks much improved since we last saw it in Season 1, all thanks to the efforts of the Magistrate and Marshal Dune. Even the bar that they had their epic standoff in at the end of the last season is now a school. They leave Grogu at the school so they can go and talk business. Grogu spots another kid eating space cookies, and he sticks his little hand out and he's, can I have a cookie? And the kid's like, I don't want to share. No, I'm not sharing with you. So Grogu uses the Force to steal the cookies.
Yep.
Then our boy from Season 1, another Season 1 throwback, Mythrol is back. The green... He's having him manage
He's
the
blue,
books.
not green. Wait a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Grogu. Greef is having Mythrol manage the books, because apparently Mythrol had been managing them for years before he stole the money from Greef, ran off, and Greef put the bounty on him to get him back.
Wait a second here. Isn't Mithril the species, or is that his name?
They only ever call him
I'm kind of confused
Mythrol,
by this one.
which I think is the species name. It's just like, when you call your best friend Weequay, who works
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Weequay.
We just call them by their species name.
Okay.
It's fine. I'm going to call him Mythrol the rest of the episode. If he has a name and I missed it, I'm very sorry, but all I heard was Mythrol.
I think it's just Mithril. I mean, I think that's all we've ever heard.
I don't know.
I don't remember
if I
now.
missed it, though, let me know. Greef is happy Mando is here because he needs a little help with something. It turns out there's still an old Imperial base, not too far from their safe green zone. The base supposedly has a skeleton crew. It's full of weapons. Greef wants to make sure Navarro is safe and free. Mando's in. The plan is to sneak in and overload the base's reactor and get out of there before it blows up. Mythrol is along as the driver. He's not exactly happy with this setup. No. The front door turns out it's going to be a no-go because the controls are busted because they're not graded to withstand the heat of lava. So they're like, Mythrol, come on over here, get your little slicer out, cut into the door. And Mando's like, this is taking too long. So he flies up to the top, throws the trooper off the top, killing him, and then opens the door from upstairs, I guess. Convenient. Inside, Mythrol finds a transport that he claims is worth a lot of money on the black market. He draws everyone's attention to it. Oh, look at that thing. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, okie dokie then. The Imperial in the control room notices the shuttle bay cameras out, and then Cara takes him out.
Convenient.
Yeah. So then they find their way to the room where they can disable the thingies that cool the core.
The thingies,
Yeah.
yes.
Mythrol gets to have the fun job of walking out there where there's no safety rails, as he notes, to shut it off. He manages
It's an Imperial facility. What did you expect?
I know. He does manage to succeed, and it starts getting real hot real fast. Imperial scientists in another room now are starting to try and purge the drives, get rid of the data. And then Mando squad shows up, and they're like, blow them up, get rid of the drives. But no, they killed them. And then you turn around and mysterious, Snoke-looking clone tubes.
Snoke.
That's when they realize
Something,
this isn't a military base, this is a laboratory. This is a science institute here.
Are they making Snoke precursors?
It's hard to say. Cara tells Mythrol to look into the system to figure out what was this place up to, and he finds a recording from our friend, Dr. Donut. Pershing.
Yep.
Something about a catastrophic failure with body rejecting the blood would turn them into whatever's in the tube, I suppose. That the donor had a high M count, and they don't think they could find any donors with a higher M count.
Except
but
for Grogu.
They need to stop the experiments because he's afraid the volunteer, whoever the volunteer is, would die if they went ahead with the transfusion.
So basically they need Grogu for the volunteers' infusion for whatever snoke that might be.
Yeah, he wants to suspend the experiments because the donor they're referring to is the child, and they're out of his blood. It's hard to, get a lot of blood from somebody that small safely. And we learn that Moth Gideon is kind of the overseer. He's in charge of getting this experiment done. It's his experiment. And the recording is only 3 days old. So now Mando and crew know that Gideon is actually still alive, which means Grogu is in danger.
Yep, coming for him.
Mm-hmm. So more stormtroopers show up, and we're back to some fighting. They tell Mando to jet back to the town because it'll be quicker, and they're going to make for the speeder. Greef, Cara, and Mithril seem trapped, and then so they can't get to their speeder anymore. And then they're like, oh yeah, remember that transport we mentioned earlier? They load on into that, and they drive it off the roof. And then a bunch of scout troopers get on their bikes, and they take off in pursuit.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Greef mans the guns. He managed to take out some troopers. It's all looking good. Then we see TIE fighters launching from the base, which is in the process of blowing up. The TIEs start to close in. Greef is trying to shoot them down. He manages to shoot one, but the wreckage flies into his gun, so he no longer has a way to defend themselves as they're racing for town. When all seems lost, you see the TIE fighters going in for the kill. Mando shows up in the Razor Crest to save the day, attacking the TIEs with Grogu strapped in on board, still eating his cookies. Yep. Mando expertly takes him off with some evasive and fancy maneuvering, which causes Grogu then to lose his cookies.
That's
not
just
in a
a
good
tragedy.
sense.
Have you ever heard the tragedy of Grogu losing his cookies? I thought not.
No. Greef gets on the comm to thank him and say, hey, you're even Steven for the repairs. You want to come down and have a drink? And Mando's like, I can't stay. I'm worried that, Gideon's going to figure out that I'm here. And Grogu's clearly in danger. So he's like, I gotta go.
I got a date with a Jedi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just when you think the episode is over, more stuff happens. Our new Republic X-Wing fighter from a couple episodes ago shows up. He wants to question Greef about what happened, about this base exploding, and Greef kind of just shrugs him off and gives him nothing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, things happen. What happens on Navarro stays on Navarro.
When he just kind of throws a little slight at him, he's like, maybe we'll talk some more if you guys ever come out this far.
Ooh.
Yeah, he threw a little shade back at him.
Yeah, he did.
And then that Republic officer stops by outside to talk to Cara Dune. He praises her for her job of cleaning up Navarro and the area in general. Offers her a job, but she's like, I'm not really a joiner.
I don't want to be a ranger of the New Republic. Because then you'd have to make a show about me that you're going to end up canceling.
Quiet you. But the important thing to note here, because this is important stuff thinking about Season 3, the Republic officer mentions that something is going on out here in the Outer Rim and that they can't stop it without local support.
See, I kind of forgot about that.
If you flash into the trailer, he's talking about something that's been building that they haven't been able to quite get control of.
I forgot he mentioned that until we watched it again.
Part of the problem is because even someone like Greef Karga, these things in the Outer Rim, they're not helping by keeping this information from the Republic. No. All they're doing is preventing action from being taken.
Well, I mean, the Republic is, it's still in its infancy, you could say. And
Greef kind of wants to just be like, just leave us alone. We'll do our own thing. Go away. But I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
And we also find out that, and this is the sad story, that he tells us Cara Dune is from Alderaan, and she lost everyone with that planet. And, he leaves her. He leaves her a New Republic badge, leaving that door open, and sad faces all around. Then we flash to the Empire. Apparently the shady repairman really was shady, and he attached a tracking device to Mando's ship. Moth Gideon is most pleased by this information as he looks over the dark troopers he's got set up in this little room over here. Someone's over preparing for a fight with Mando.
I don't know that you need like a squad of dark troopers for Mando, but yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
you
if
don't.
I don't know if a Jedi would show up.
a
Nah, that
Jedi
probably
would
still
show
wouldn't
up.
even be enough against a Jedi.
Depends on what their M count is.
But yes, a good action-packed episode for sure.
Stuff that I enjoy that now seeing the season 3 trailer, see that breadcrumb laid there by our Republic
like I had completely
officer,
forgotten about it. I remembered the whole
Captain Rancor. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I'd remembered the whole offering Kara the job thing, but I had forgotten like his reasoning behind it until the
Because
rewatch.
something out there has been happening, and they've noted something is happening, but these outer local systems aren't cooperating.
Yeah. Well,
This
why
is
should they?
partially what's going to start the First Order.
Yeah.
They're not helping.
Well, I mean, that's what we're assuming, right?
It is an assumption at this point.
Yes.
We'll see more in a couple of
Yeah,
weeks.
we'll see if that's what they are indeed setting up, or if it's simply Thrawn kind of reorganizing out here the remnants of the Empire and whatever else it might be. But anyway, that is going to be all we got for you this time. So do take to the comments below, tell us what you thought of this episode, and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.